Hello everyone, welcome to my new channel. The name of this channel is Typical Politicking. Basically, what I seek to do here is to talk about politics, what's going on in the world, in the most unbiased manner possible. So what does that entail? So I'm going to be including opinions from the left and right perspective, or whatever other perspective there is. It doesn't just have to be bound by the two political parties. There could be multiple points of view. And I'm going to be talking about what's going on in the present, in our politics, our news, and even media and entertainment. So, other than that, I'm going to get right into the topic. So, impeachment. That has been in the news headlines for the last few weeks. Now, why is this important? Let's start at the basics. Why did this happen in the first place? Unless if you've been living under a rock, you know that a few weeks ago, actually, it's been more than a month ago, that there was a storming at the U.S. Capitol, January 6th, by a bunch of Trump supporters. Now, why did they do this? Well, that's what this impeachment is all about. Because Democrats argue that Donald Trump incited an insurrection during his speech on January 6th, directing his supporters to the U.S. Capitol. And many of those supporters took those as direction and instruction to storm the Capitol and to seek to harm various politicians. There were people who wanted to lynch Mike Pence, kill Nancy Pelosi, leak out classified information, and form a new government. Now, that is a huge threat to national security in the United States, and we cannot have that. And Democrats argue Trump is the sole person who incited this insurrection and who is responsible for what happened. Now, there was a vote that happened a couple days ago which acquitted Donald Trump of this charge against him. There was a whole trial. You had the Democrat impeachment managers arguing against the Trump defense lawyers. So how did that turn out? So many thought, including Republican senators, that the impeachment managers did a better job of presenting their case, of saying, oh, the president's words matter, and what a president says can impact generations. And the impeachment Trump defense lawyers were saying is, oh, all because a word or a set of words or sentences were interpreted a certain way does not mean that the person who said it is guilty of inciting that violence. Let's say, for example, a politician says, we have to fight for the country, we have to fight for Medicare for all. Let's say something like that. Does that mean necessarily that they advocated for violence? Or are they just saying, okay, we need to politically fight, put pressure on politicians, on social media, whatever? And Trump was saying a similar thing when he was saying, if you don't fight, you are going to lose this country. That is something that you typically hear from a lot of politicians. If you don't fight, you're going to lose this. If you don't fight, we're going to waste an opportunity. All those things. So those were the main arguments. So how did that vote turn out? So 57 senators versus 43 voted to acquit the president. So 57 voted to convict, but you need 67 in order to get a full conviction. So they were about 10 senators short. Now the thing that's most notable is the number of Republicans that voted to convict and the number that didn't. So you can see from the number, 43 Republican senators did not vote to convict the president. They voted to acquit. Even though there were a lot of criticism about how the Trump lawyers conducted their defense. It was seen as lazy, sloppy, all over the place, especially the first time they presented their case. And there were a number of Republican senators who even wanted to vote to acquit, who said, yeah, that was a poor presentation. It was off topic. But despite that, 43 Republican senators decided to vote to acquit. And there were 7 Republican senators, including all the Democrats, that voted to convict the president. Now, I'm going to talk about why each side went for what they went for. Obviously, the Democrats, because they want to get rid of Trump. They want to try to stand on the moral high ground. Okay, whatever that may be. The 7 Republican senators voted to convict Donald Trump because they want to make sure that he is out of the way for the future to come. They don't want to see Trump run again. They don't want to have to deal with the shit that comes with that. They don't want to have to deal with the scandal, deal with the baggage and the unpopularity of Trump right now. Because Trump left office with about a 38% approval rating, around there. That is a poor way to end your term, especially after winning 47% of the national popular vote. So those 7 Republican senators, they want to get Trump the hell out of this party. They want to get him out of the Republican Party, and they want to return to what they call more policy, quote-unquote, policy-oriented politics. They want to return to traditional conservatism, like what McCain had, Mitt Romney had, Bush, in various aspects. Now, whether that's good or not, well, there are political benefits and political risks of going in that direction. But that could be discussed in a different video. So that's the main reason why those 7 Republicans voted to convict. Now, why did the 43 Republican senators vote to acquit? One, a number of them actually thought he wasn't guilty. There were a number of them, I'm sure, that don't think he's actually guilty of anything, and that essentially taken the right-wing position, which is spewed on Fox News, Newsmax, yada, yada, yada. Okay? And there's also a huge number of them who just feel the political pressure of a public vote against the president. They fear that if they vote to convict the president, that they are going to have political ramifications. Now, what does that mean? Well, one, they could lose their re-election. Donald Trump could come out when it's time for re-election in a couple of years for many of these senators and House members and say, I'm going to primary you. I'm going to endorse your opponent. If you vote to convict me, your political career is done. And guess what? The threat of that worked. It worked. And that's the huge implication that comes out of this. Is that Trump still has that huge hold on the party to where the party can't seem to move on from him. Because there is a large majority of the party that still loves Trump. The majority of the country might not love Trump, but the majority of the party is still with Donald Trump. It's still the party of Donald Trump right now. And if a bunch of these other Republican senators voted to convict the president, they would have to deal with the base. They would have to deal with a divided party. As divided as it is right now, they would divide it even more. It would be political chaos for their party, and their party probably wouldn't survive for very long. So it's essentially the fear of Trump, the fear of the power of Trump that Trump has created over the last 4 or 5 years. The Donald Trump movement, the MAGA movement, still has a huge hold over the Republican Party. Now, another argument is, we can't move forward with this impeachment because we have to focus on policy initiatives. And they're saying, this is a waste of time. This is a waste of money. According to Fox News, there was an estimated probably about $1.83 million for the impeachment trial. That's just one estimate. Another estimate says $3.06 million. So they're saying, this is a waste of money. This is a waste of our time. And we shouldn't be doing this. We should be focusing on policy initiatives. We should be focusing on improving the lives of the American people, getting these stimulus checks passed, whatever they believe should be in those stimulus checks.
Children's Sizos, a wise choice. It relieves symptoms while they sleep, so they'll wake to a...
And now, we have to figure what's next. What's next? Well, thing that's next is probably the COVID relief, because that is the most important thing right now. That's the most important thing that needs to be focused on, is how is the government going to focus on providing relief to the American people? Because the government and the media is so focused on this trial right now. But there are still tens of millions of Americans who are starving right now, without a job, who don't have access to the resources they need. And they need those resources, and they need it now. And they're sick and tired of saying, oh, this impeachment. They're like, fuck the impeachment. We need action to help our lives. And that is a huge thing right there. And that's how I'm going to end this video. And what I want everyone to think about was this impeachment worth it? Was it worth it to delay COVID relief in favor of this impeachment? Was it fair? Do we need to bring justice to those who did wrong, or at least who many believe to have done wrong? Or do we need to move on from the past and focus on COVID relief and directly benefiting the lives of Americans? I want to thank everyone for watching this video. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, share this video. Take some thoughts. Think about what you heard. And I'll see you guys in another video.